common goal to understand that the best of America lies in how we treat those who have arrived to this country fleeing terror and torture and desperation. We have work to do, guys. We have a mission that we need to complete. And I want you to welcome to the podium my friend, Farish Sheikhanjave.
Good evening, everyone. Since arriving in the United States as a refugee in 2011, I have educated more than 7,000 refugees, especially women entering the workforce, now thriving as educator, health worker, and essential service providers, each becoming a lighthouse for others. Partnering with over 100 universities across the country and help young students launch career in embassies, public services, leadership programs, and enter to the top medical and law schools. For years, I advocated for immigration rights. I founded Elena's Light, an organization to support families in Connecticut. And I'm proud of work over the years that we did. Thank you. I'm here today, now standing next to my favorite senator, Senator Murphy, to speak with the voice I'm so proud of. Since the recent election, my phone has not stopped ringing. Mothers have called me asking if it is safe to go to my child's appointment. Women have asked if they should cancel English classes. Afghan families and many immigrant families are confused about their legal status and afraid to travel for work even within their own states. And afraid to travel for work even within. Fear is not abstract. It is in our classrooms. It is in our clinics. It is in our homes. Families feel unstable. We are living in uncertain society these days. Because of this, advocacy in Connecticut has shifted. Organizations on the ground like ours are spending more time on Know Your Rights training. Policies are shifted quickly, and we must help families with rapid response needs. Preparing families with documentation for when their family members get kidnapped. And working closely with legal and health partners to support families struggling after Trump's healthcare cuts. But as hard as we try, we cannot replace health insurance. That our elderly, our children, our people with disability can no longer access. We cannot guarantee safety or peace of mind for the worker who keep our communities running every day. This administration needs to stop separating families. mothers, kids, and our future generation who will become our caretaker, our lawyers, our teachers, and our politicians. Our community member needs safety and peace of mind to work. Leadership matters at the federal levels. We need real leaders. We need a stable federal support for integration and mental and medical health services. And we need policies rooted in dignity and education. As families can focus on building our shared community and future. When families feel secure, they build. When mothers feel safe, they lead. When children feel stable, they dream. And when we protect our people, we strengthen the entire nation.
This is the counter-protest to Trump's State of the Union address, for those of you who wanted to know.
This is America. Thank you.
Everybody, one note, we just want to do sort of one housekeeping note. Attention all MAGA trolls. And with apologies to the pastor who gave the invocation, your bullshit is not welcome here. And to paraphrase one of my favorite actors in the world, Robert De Niro, I'm going to slightly paraphrase him, fuck y'all. We're here to hear the truth and to hear from impacted people, not to see or hear from you. So go back and pay attention to your orange lying friend. Now, coming to the stage is one of the reasons that we are finally getting some of those files released. Everybody say, release the files. Release the files. Coming to the stage now is Pennsylvania's Fighting 12. Representative Summer Lee. She is one of the main reasons that we're getting some of those files. She's going to be reading a story from Monica Ruiz, the executive director of Casa San Jose, waiting to keep families together and reform our unjust immigration system, all while her family is now being impacted by ICE. Representative Lee.
Whew. What a start to the evening. But good evening one way or another. I am Summer Lee, representing Pennsylvania's 12th Congressional District, and I'm proud to stand here this evening with Move On, with organizers, with workers, and with everyday people who refuse to sit quietly while our country is pushed to the brink. Right now, Donald Trump is preparing to deliver his made-up version of the State of the Union. He's going to tell a familiar story tonight, that the economy is booming, that our communities are safer, and that America is stronger than it's ever been, all because
What's up, everybody that's
of
joining
him.
in?
But we know the truth. We're
right quick, because nobody can understand this woman. This is the counter State of the Union to Trump's State of the Union. They decided to get it going early because they figured they probably weren't going to have anybody viewing it once he starts. So that's what this is right now. I figured we'd kill some time before Trump gets on stage.
Authoritarian power, and they want us fighting each other so we don't pay attention to what they're stealing from us. And I mean all of us, Democrats and Republicans and independents, young folks and old folks and black folks, whether you're in a red or a blue state, whether you're in rural towns or factory communities, because corruption doesn't check your voter registration before it robs you. While they're terrorizing immigrant communities right now, they're cutting health care. They're gutting worker protection. They're union busting. They're handing tax breaks to billionaires and sending the bill to the rest of us. That's the con. That's the scam. And working people are done falling for it. I was supposed to be joined by my good friend and neighbor, Monica Ruiz. Monica is a mother, a community organizer, and a powerful advocate for immigrants' rights. She was ready to bring that fight from Pittsburgh to D.C. to remind folks who and what she has been fighting for relentlessly. But right now, Monica's family is in crisis as it's being targeted by ICE. Her son-in-law, Victor, was followed by agents unprompted after he dropped his brother off at work. They pulled him over without cause. There was no traffic violation, no expired tag, just a man who looked brown enough to be dragged to one of the worst detention centers in the country. Meanwhile, just
Gotta love this.
The other day, Monica's daughter, Adriana, just gave birth to a baby girl who is yet to meet her father because he's been locked up by this lawless agency. Victor has been in the country for 18 years. 18 years of working to build a life for himself, his loved ones, and now his new family. That is the real state of our union, where families are being torn apart and traumatized, where corporations get more say in our democracy than the people we elect, where the government would rather protect powerful people and the Epstein files than the women and the girls who were sexually
I have
abused.
to agree on that one.
We live in a country where we have one reality for everyday people and another for the rich and the well-connected and the well-protected. We have to change that. We have to meet the moment with bold policies that level the playing field and deliver justice no matter how much money you have to your name. That's why earlier today I announced that I'll be introducing articles of impeachment against Pam Bondi. Trump's DOJ continues to obstruct justice and refusing to comply with our subpoena to release the full, unredacted Epstein files. Bondi must be held accountable for that.
I
And
think
let's
both
not
sides agree with
forget,
that.
it was Trump who said it first, release the files. So we'll keep that call up no matter what. Because where I come from in Western Pennsylvania, we know what it means to be abandoned by politicians who make big promises and lie and deliver nothing. We know what it's like when the factories close, when the hospitals cut services, when the schools can't afford to teach, when the corporations are given permission to poison our water, our air, and our communities without consequences. And we know that no matter what language you speak, what zip code you live in, we all feel that pain, and we are all being squeezed by the same rigged system. So when Trump points the fingers at immigrants, our trans kids, our protesters, our journalists, understand what he's doing. He's trying to make sure we never point the finger where it belongs, at the billionaires and the corporations looting our economy, robbing our people, and buying our democracy right from under us. But here's the truth that they're afraid of. Working people are waking up. Across this country, folks are organizing. Labor and their money, they're refusing to be silent in the face of authoritarianism. But we know
New poll, do you guys think they're still hiding all the Epstein files? I certainly do. What do you think?
paints his fantasy version of America. We're grounded in America, in reality, and we're building something better. In America where we have Medicare for all, every job that pays a living wage, where no one fears being ripped away from their family. That is the America we're fighting for. And later tonight, I'll be delivering the Working Families Party response to the State of the Union, laying out exactly what it will take to build an economy and a democracy that works for all of us, not just the working few. So I'm asking you to stay engaged, stay fired up, and tune in tonight, because this is about building a movement that is big enough to defeat authoritarianism, to stand up to corporate power, and rooted in a simple belief that when working people come together across race, across geography, and across whatever lines they try to divide us by, we are unstoppable. So all power to the people, and thank you all for being with us tonight.
Well, hell yeah, that's how we do it. Coming up next, a man who doesn't suffer fools from the great state of Arizona. We've got Senator Ruben Gallego. He's going to be talking about a man by the name of Steve Gomez. Steve is a father of 3 from Gilbert, Arizona, and for the last 5 years, Steve and his family have relied on the Affordable Care Act marketplace for their insurance. But let me be clear. Because of Republicans and Donald Trump's big bullshit bill, now Steve has to decide what he's going to cut to be able to afford health care for his child. Senator Ruben Gallego.
Listen, you know how important this is? I'm from Arizona.
No, you're not.
This is cold. But let's be clear what's happening there. They want to call that the State of the Union. It is the state of denial. Because what's going to happen under that Capitol is a bunch of lies. Lies that Donald Trump, the Republicans, are going to tell us about how great this country is doing right now. But what is true, what is happening right now is that Donald Trump, the Republicans, have made this country sicker, poorer, and less secure.
So what's up, Cole, Joe, Lou, James, Tuck, Jack, Joseph, F Troop? Welcome. Hope you guys can hang out for a while. We are going to go into the State of the Union around, I think 9 o'clock is when it starts, but we're watching the Democrats whine about shit. And remember, neither party is on our side. They're all demon worshippers.
They have left over, then they used it to hire the most amount of ICE agents to have the massive amount of deportations we have now that are also targeting U.S. citizens, racial profiling Americans, arresting Latino veterans and telling them you are not part of this country and making them prove that they're Americans when nobody asked to prove our citizenship when they were sending us to war for this country. Sicker, poorer, and more secure. Less secure. Let me tell you what else. Every day, every American is trying to figure out how to buy food, how to pay rent, how to pay that mortgage, how to get a car, and this president has done.
So the game of a lifetime, you fully support Democrats. Tell us why. I want to know why. Enlighten us.
The corporations are going to get all their money back. Is every American going to get a refund for the $1,000 mistake that this president did? No. Not only that, he's going to double down. He's going to say, screw you, Supreme Court. I want to do 15% tax, and guess what? All of you Americans are going to pay for it. And now we have to figure out again, how are we going to pay for our rent? How are we going to pay for electricity? How are we going to actually pay for everyday food? We are poorer because of Donald Trump and the Republicans. Now let's talk about security. Let's talk about security. In 2 weeks, 2 Americans were gunned down by federal masked agents. In front of our eyes, in front of your eyes, and then they try to lie to you. You saw it with your own eyes. 2 Americans expressing their First Amendment rights, and they said to you that they deserve to die. 2 Americans. 2,000 federal agents, masked federal agents, suppressing citizens in Minnesota, acting as if they're a military occupation. You do not military occupy anything in any part of this country. Those are U.S. citizens. They deserve the right to free speech. They deserve the right to say there's something wrong in my community, and they deserve the right to protect themselves and say, I will not.
So these people, what they're basically saying is we don't want to remove illegal aliens. That's all that he's saying. So they're going to bring up all this stuff because they want to keep their voters in the country.
And I'm not saying this just because I'm just another politician. I'm telling you because I have heard it. We talked about Steve Gomez. Steve Gomez wanted to do everything he could not to have to accept subsidies for his kids. He wants to provide. He wants to continue to have his personal business. He wants to be a responsible citizen. Now he has to make that decision. He has to make a decision right now. Will I continue to pay for this very expensive health care, or will I gamble? Will I pay for my health care, or will I pay the mortgage? That decision was forced upon him by an uncaring Republican administration, by an uncaring Trump, who only wants to find more and more money to give more and more tax cuts to the richest of the country that do not need it right now. They're making us sicker, poorer, and less secure. Let's change that, America. We are better than what is under that Capitol right now. We can make this country, again, the best country in the world, where everyone is richer, where everyone is more secure, and we are proud of everyday work that we can say that America is getting better, will be better, and will one day be the best. Thank you so much. Stay in the fight.
Hello, Danielle. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, there are a lot of people that are struggling right now, unfortunately.
to the stage is the man who had the courage, the cojones, to go and find him at Seacott. And, oh, look at that.
Here we go.
My fans are back. What I always say is, you know who I am, and I don't know who you are.
Here we go.
That means you're a fan, you're a fan, you're a fan, you're a fan. Go ahead and keep on standing me. Keep on standing me, because I don't know who the hell you are, but you know me. Hallelujah. Keep on being my fan. Coming to the stage is the great Chris Van Hollen, Senator Chris Van Hollen of the great state of Maryland. He'll be joined by Jenna Norton, a public health scientist focused on health equity and data standards to improve health outcomes in kidney and urologic diseases. She was a lead organizer of the Bethesda Declaration, a whistleblower letter to the NIH director and members of Congress detailing this harm. In November 2025, she was placed on retaliatory administrative leave. So you're going to want to give her a major round of applause. Senator Van Hollen.
Hello, American patriots all. We are gathered here in this place because we love our country. And we know that our democracy is not on automatic pilot. And we know that we, the people, must mobilize to save it. Are you out here to save our democracy? Yes! And you're going to hear from a moment from my guest, who is a research scientist at NIH, who was able to stand up and speak truth to power, and you're going to hear her tonight tell that story. Thank you for being here, Dr. Norton. Now, we know the state of our union. We know it is under attack from a lawless president who is shredding our Constitution and who is attacking our democracy.
Again, it's not, guys, it's not the politicians necessarily. They are the pawns of the billionaire class, the demon worshippers, the devil worshippers. And we're learning all of this stuff in more detail, and it's being proven beyond any reasonable doubt based on the Epstein files. So all of this is all show. They keep just arguing back and forth. Trump's the bad guy. The Democrats are the bad guy. They're all bad. But it's who they end up working for and who they're serving.
The Oval Office to enrich himself, his families, and his billionaire buddies. A president who continues to hide portions.
He got that part right, the billionaire buddies. But how? You don't think the Democrats are controlled by billionaires too?
When are they going to release the files? A president who wants to erase our history. Are we going to let him erase America's history? No! A president who promised that on day one he would bring down the costs. But instead, ever since he was sworn in, we've seen prices and costs go up on the American people, even as he refuses to extend tax cuts, tax credits that help people afford their health care. We have a president who seeks not to build a more perfect union, but one who wants to tear it down. And a president who said he would stop wars, but instead is responsible for war crimes and, as we speak, is threatening more wars.
You can't disagree with that. That's true. He said that he was going to stop all the wars. It's not happening, and we might end up going to war with Iran. So that's true.
Of this is normal, and that we will not and must not pretend that this is business as usual. We must get in the way of Donald Trump's march toward fascism. We cannot take our country down that road.
By the way, prices are not going down, and you can't necessarily blame that on Trump, because there's collusion. There's court cases that you don't see, by the way, in the press, where there's collusion between, like PepsiCo, for example, and Walmart, that are artificially holding up prices. So the prices are not coming down, and specifically because of collusion from monopolistic companies that are artificially holding up prices. So it is not true that they are coming down.
Patriots, are you going to shut up? No! Hell no! Are you going to sit down? No! Hell no! We're not going to stand down. We're going to stand up just like the people in Minneapolis. who have taken to the streets, who are blowing the whistle to protect their neighbors and to protect our Constitution, and who are getting in the way of the president's efforts to tear down our country. Now, look, we know Donald Trump is unpopular, and we know he knows he's unpopular. So tonight, right up that hill in the United States Capitol, he's going to pretend that he really wants to help working Americans. He's going to pretend that he does want to bring down those prices. And we know that that is not what he wants, because just a few weeks ago, when we talked about the affordability crisis, he said that was a big hoax. Do you remember? He said that was a hoax. Well, it's real. And we all need to make sure that we put forward ideas to deal with it. So, in my view, it's not enough that we hold the line against Donald Trump. That we must do. But let's face it, we also need to show the American people that we are willing to stand up and fight against big corporate special interests to the benefit of all of the American people. Are we going to do that together? Because we need to make sure that we unrig a tax code that right now favors people who make money off of money over people who earn a check through their hard work. Are we going to change that?
You're not going to change that.
We need to make sure that all of you don't pay high electric bills so data centers that are owned by the richest corporations on the planet can make more money. Are we going to make sure that your electricity bills don't go up for them? Yes! And we need to make sure that big oil and the biggest polluters don't pass on the check to all of us, because polluters should pay. Yes! And we need to make sure that big tech doesn't write all the rules, that we write the rules, and we make sure that AI doesn't strip Americans
Comcast Business Advanced.
Are we going to do that? Yes! And we're going to make sure they can't snuff out the light on the Statue of Liberty. Are we right about that, my fellow Americans? Yes! Thank you! So look, we have a lot of work. People, when's the cavalry coming? Where are they? And my message to you, and you know this because you're here, is you are the cavalry. You are we the people. I know all of you remember that right after he was sworn in, Donald Trump began his unlawful assault on hardworking federal employees. Federal employees who work every day to deliver services to the American people. You remember he brought in Elon Musk, who took out his chainsaw not to make government more efficient, but to rig the government in favor of billionaires like him. One of the people who stood up and spoke out was Dr. Jenna Norton, a career public health researcher at the National Institutes of Health. Dr. Norton blew the whistle on the outrageous actions that threaten the health and well-being of the American people. And she has been retaliated against because she was willing to stand up and tell the truth. But here's what we all know. When the history of this moment is written, the politicians and the law firms and the universities and the corporations who appease the bullies will be exposed as the cowards they are. And the people who are standing up to save our democracy, like all of you gathered here today, and people like Dr. Norton, they will be remembered as those who preserved our Constitution and our democracy. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Dr. Jenna Norton.
Thank you, Senator Van Hollen. I'm so honored to be here today, speaking up with so many other brave people in my personal capacity. As Senator Van Hollen noted, in November of 2025, I was placed on administrative leave from the job that I loved at the National Institutes of Health because I blew the whistle on the wrongdoing that I saw there. The Trump administration put research participants and public health at risk by Is that better? So, thank you, Senator Van Hollen, and thank you for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. I am very honored to be here today with all of the brave folks who have been speaking up, and I am here in my personal capacity. So as Senator Van Hollen noted, I was placed on administrative leave in November of last year because I spoke up about the wrongdoing that I was seeing in a job that I used to love at the National Institutes of Health until it was fundamentally changed. The Trump administration put research participants and public health at risk when they abruptly terminated NIH studies. By halting these studies, they also wasted taxpayer resources. When you halt a study, a 5-year study, a $5 million study, 4 years in, you don't save $1 million, you waste $4 million. And they continue to this day to censor research in violation of the courts, erasing people from science who don't fit their vision. Black people, Hispanic people, immigrants, LGBTQ+ people, all Americans who deserve to have their unique research needs addressed. They are creating a science that serves the few instead of a science that serves all of us. When this began, I knew that speaking up was my right, but I also believed that it was my duty. I first spoke up inside the National Institutes of Health, but when my concerns were not addressed by leadership at NIH, I felt that I had no choice but to join with hundreds of my colleagues at NIH to take those concerns to the public. Tonight, you are hearing from those most affected by the Trump administration. But civil servants like me are not the only ones affected. The lawlessness at the National Institutes of Health affects all of us. Last year, the Trump administration funded 24% fewer new research studies with about the same amount of money. That means fewer future cures for all of us. The Trump administration also funded 20% fewer early career researchers, creating a brain drain that will damage our economy and end American leadership in science exploration as our best and our brightest seek positions abroad. The Trump administration tried to silence us by putting me and other federal employees who have spoken up on retaliatory administrative leave. They do not want you to know how they are destroying your government, our government. But we will not stop speaking up. Let's get loud together. This is our country, and when we come together, we are powerful. Thank you.
Still waiting on
That's exactly
Trump.
what we
He's at
need to
the
be hearing
Capitol
tonight.
here.
Coming up next, we have a congressman from the state of Texas who's the chair of the Democratic Congressional Progressive Caucus. These days, people look at the word progressive and they think it means something, but it's not. What it is every basic human thing that we all deserve, we should get it. That means affordable health care. That means due process. That means basic human civil rights. Congressman Greg Casar from the state of Texas is here with a woman by the name of Jill Cordick. Jill is a retiree from last year. Her premiums used to be $75 a month, courtesy of the enhanced premium tax credits But again, the Republicans and Donald Trump with the big bullshit bill didn't care about those enhanced tax credits.
New poll.
So now Jill's premiums have increased tenfold this year. So now it costs $800 a month for $9,600 a year for health care.
That's low.
Please welcome Congressman Greg Casar and Jill Cordick.
All right, I'm going to put a poll out there about health care, but in the chat, how much are you guys paying every year for health care?
Doing tonight.
Because she's not wrong.
I'm not in the Capitol building tonight because I have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. For an hour or 2 or 3 or 4, a man who's made $4 billion off of being president is going to lecture you, the American people, about how good you have it. A man who is building himself a golden ballroom is going to tell you that if you're struggling to get by, that's your fault because he's killing it.
Yeah.
A man who flies around in a $400 million palace in the sky is going to tell you how good the economy actually is. He's going to tell us that the State of the Union is strong. Strong for who? Donald Trump and his...
So I forgot to ask her if you're
line
self-employed or not. $24,000 a year for health care
Epstein
makes sense
class
from
certainly is going
Chuck.
strong, but the state
That's
of
for
our
probably, I'm
union
guessing you're
is about
self-employed.
all
Let me
of
know.
us. And everyone but Donald Trump's rich friends know that it's a disaster. Our union is not strong when millions of folks like Jill are seeing their health care premiums go up
It's $609 a month for a 33-year-old is high as well.
Higher.
But
Our
Loopy, are
union is
you
not
self-employed
strong
or employed?
when Americans
W-2.
fear they could be killed or taken by masked agents in our streets. And now the latest news is that Trump is going to talk about in his speech tonight another tax cut.
They're
for
worth
the richest
millions,
people
plus
in
they
this
get
country
the
and
best
for big
health care you can
corporations.
possibly get.
17 million Americans are already paying for Donald Trump's last billionaire tax cut by losing their health care. Do we need another one? Read my lips. No new billionaire tax cuts. It's time for them to pay their fair share so that every man, woman, and child in this country can have a job that pays a living wage and affordable child care and health care as a basic human right for every single person. And while we're at it, we should get big money out of politics so that both parties answer to the people and not to the billionaires. Not another cent to the billionaire class, not another cent.
So you're
to the
paying what
Epstein
self-employed
class.
people pay
We will fight
at $2,000
this
a
Trump
month. That's
proposal
stupid.
tonight, tooth and nail, and we will make sure that the Republicans that vote for it lose their jobs. What do y'all say?
The Republicans are not going to win the midterms. They are going to lose the midterms, and they're going to lose them badly the way things are going.
Because we see what he does. He steals from working Americans to give to the rich. Donald Trump doesn't owe us a 2-hour rambling speech. He owes the American people their money back. If he wants to help the American people, he should shut up and pay up and give every family the $1,700 that he took from them with his illegal tariffs. How about that? How about instead of giving us a rambling speech, he gives us the $4 billion back he took in bribes while he's been president this last year? How about instead of wasting our time in that Capitol, he gives us the $1 trillion back he gave in tax cuts to the 1%? But he's probably not going to give us that, so it's time for us to go and do it ourselves. That's right. Because I know
that's the problem with the out-of-pocket, Loopy, is that not only are you paying insane premiums, but your out-of-pocket and your deductibles, in some cases, are 5 figures for a lot of people as well. It's not insurance at all. And it wasn't insurance before. And now when you lose the tax credit, it's going to be even worse.
Donald Trump a message about the kind of union we're going to build. Because next year, with all of our work and the work of Americans like those you're hearing from tonight, Trump will face a very different Congress. A Congress that does not bow down to him, but stands up to him and holds him and all of those criminals accountable. You gotta believe it. And that's gonna happen, not because of people in power, but because millions of brave, everyday Americans are speaking up about how they're getting screwed by Donald Trump. And I have the honor of being joined by one of them tonight. Please give a very loud, very warm welcome to Jill Cordick.
There was someone earlier today or this evening that said they were from Arizona and it was a little cold. I'm from Iowa. This is balmy. So tonight, as President Trump is delivering the State of the Union and obviously bragging about the fantastic economy he's produced, I'd like to take a moment and tell you a little bit about how his economy is affecting me. When I retired, I benefited from the ACA tax credits, as you all have heard, $75 a month, a little over $900 for the year.
These guys are talking numbers that no one's paying.
Then,
like, no,
as a part of Trump's
I don't know where they're
agenda,
pulling these numbers from.
enthusiastically supported by Representative Marionette Miller Meeks, they voted to shut down the ACA tax credits. A decision that I'm sure she's applauding tonight behind us in the Capitol. And because of that, I now pay just short of $10,000. So from $900 to $10,000. Affordability looks very different today. So now I found myself, shopping a little different at the grocery store. I'm in Iowa, so yes, we do layer up and use blankets, all in an attempt not to raise my heat bill.
Okay, so 68% of you believe that the Epstein files, not even close, have not been fully released, and I think most people think that way outside of the poll as well. I'm going to do another poll on how long you think the Trump speech is going to be.
Americans that are affected by the loss of the ACA credits. In Iowa specifically, there are around 100,000. 13,000 have opted not to sign up and be in the marketplace this year. That's 13,000 Iowans trying to navigate the healthcare systems without coverage. This isn't abstract. These are real policy choices, errant policy choices, and they're harming real people like me. And these intentions, and the intentions here that these leaders are these guys are supposed to be representing us. I have too many syllables here. Yet, and they continue to disappoint us. They've just shown us, the Republicans and Donald Trump, how out of touch they are with real Americans. So when they choose tax breaks for the wealthy over affordability, that dastardly word that Donald doesn't like, affordability for Americans, they're turning their very back on the people that they are supposed to be representing. So thank you for listening. Thank you for showing up tonight.
Thank you, Jill. Let's hear it for Jill. Let's hear it for each of you guys. Thank you guys very much.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Y'all good? Y'all doing good? You doing okay? All right. Wonderful. Coming to the stage. Now, this is going to be an incredible tag team. This is a dynamic duo. All of these have been dynamic duos tonight. But coming to the stage right now, you're about to get a powerful message about change and hope and possibility. From California's Fighting 42. Yeah. Representative Robert Garcia. And joining Representative Garcia is the Kelly Robinson, Executive Director of Human Rights Campaign. She is the 9th president of HRC and the first black queer woman to lead the largest LGBTQ plus civil rights organization in the United States. Give it up, Representative Garcia and Kelly Robinson.
Hey everyone, how are we doing tonight?
Push that gay shit.
It is so great for both Kelly and I to be here with all of you, two proud members of the LGBTQ plus community who are proud to be standing tonight with the people at the People's State of the Union. The single most powerful moment tonight is going to be when Donald Trump has to look up at the gallery of the U.S. House and see the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein looking straight back at him, demanding justice, demanding truth.
JG, it's the same talking points every day for decades. And it's just been going on and on and on. And the Epstein files, is what I said earlier, prove beyond any reasonable doubt we have neither party is for us. They just are the workers for the billionaire class that is taking advantage of the working class. It's that simple.
Modern history right now being covered up by Donald Trump and Pam Bondi in the Department of Justice. Why are we protecting powerful, wealthy men who have abused and raped women and children in this country? Why is our government protecting these men?
There you go. True. Very true.
At this very moment, in my place at the Capitol is a woman named Annie Farmer. Annie and her sister Maria both endured horrific abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. As we move forward in this investigation, always center the survivors. We are going to get justice for the survivors. And Donald Trump may call this investigation a hoax. He may try to deflect our work. But our message to him is very clear, that our investigation is just getting started. And we will get justice for these survivors. And tonight I am proud to be here with a true champion of equality, because at this very moment, not only has HRC and Kelly stood up for survivors and the victims of abuse, but they stand up for our community, for gay people, for trans people, for queer people that are being attacked and whose rights are being moved back every single day. So it is give a big welcome, and I'm proud to be here with the amazing Kelly Robinson.
Yes. One more time for Congressman Garcia, y'all. Can we thank him for being out here with us for the People's State of the Union and not in there with those lies? Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. This is what leadership looks like. This is what queer leadership looks like, too, okay? I'm Kelly Robinson. I'm proud to be president of the Human Rights Campaign. We are the largest LGBTQ plus civil rights organization in the world, 3.6 million members strong, and fighting every day. But today, I'm here for the people who are in same-sex marriages that are worried about their families. I'm here for the parents that are tossing and turning at night over the safety of their queer youth.
To escort the President of the United States into the House chamber. The Senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The Senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. The Senator from Arkansas,
living with
Mr.
HIV that's denied their PrEP medication. I'm here for our community tonight. Because I gotta remind this country that lesbian, gay, bi, trans, and queer people, we've always been here and we're not going anywhere. This is our country too. This is our country too. We have paid for it in funerals, in freedom songs, in court cases, in classroom battles. When I say this is our country, I'm saying it with my whole chest. And once again, we are here to defend what is ours. Because, my friends, these are not ordinary times. There's nothing ordinary about this president removing the pride flag from Stonewall. There's nothing ordinary about them cutting billions of dollars from HIV prevention and throwing it into building more ICE detention facilities. We need health care. We need food. We don't need mass incarceration. And there's certainly nothing ordinary about this government
Presenting to you the President of the United States.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America. When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
Who agrees? Let me know in the chat. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Is he full of shit? Or are you feeling? Is it better for you? He's just going to glaze himself this entire thing. Oh, here we go. The green guy. Oh, look. Oh,
and we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back.
He did it again.
Today our border is secure.
Here he did it again. Such an animal.
Thank you.
He's such an animal.
Today our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before. And our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked. And America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
Yeah, but we're not doing mass deportations. So. And they're not going to, by the way. He promised that he would, but he's not
In the
going to do
past
that.
9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States.
But the ones that are here are going to stay. They're not going to, except for the violent criminals, that's it.
But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
And then take your jobs. So the H-1B visas will come and take everybody's jobs. There needs to be a moratorium on all immigration.
The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year.
And then for those of you who don't know, that fentanyl comes from China, through Mexico, through
And
the
last
cartels
year, the
into
murder
the
rate
United
saw
States.
its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time
Pam
ago.
Bondi with the IQ of
The Biden
6.
administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53
So good luck to you,
all-time record
millennials
highs
and
since the
Gen Z
election.
and everybody
Think of
else who
that.
wants to
1
buy a
year.
house.
Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest. As
Most of you think it's going
thousands
to go
of
2
new
hours.
businesses are forming in factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, We have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill.
That's good, Chuck. How many, new poll, is he going to mention the Epstein files?
Than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today, and 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
Yeah, it is annoying when they stand up after every comment. This is why
we ended DEI in America.
Did they though? Like 100%.
We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps.
It's an interesting sugar cane. If he does mention the Epstein files, that I'm going to go after all the people that are guilty. He could help himself.
The state of our
but if he doesn't, he's in trouble.
Strong.
The midterms are over for me. Because no one's buying any of this stuff right now that he's saying. He's just going to glaze himself all night long. Epstein. That's all that people are thinking about. That are in the know, that understand what's going on.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country.
It's
until
delusional.
You came along, we're just
this is
always
cringy.
losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
So what? It's patronizing. How many of you saw the Cash Patel incident? Instead of dealing with the Epstein files, is chugging beers with these guys. That was awesome that they beat Canada.
Go ahead. They did. That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House.
I wonder if he's going to announce that people in the crowd also are victims of Jeffrey Epstein. I wonder if he'll mention that. Jefferson, you'd fuck Epstein?
They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off, do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you all. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles.
Can you imagine they're going to be having to step around homeless people while they're running down the track?
And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country.
So we have to wait till the Olympics come before that happens. It's a great country we live in.
And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news.
There's bread and circuses to keep you off topic of what's really going on in America. So pay attention to sports ball, pay attention to football, pay attention to all this other stuff instead of what's really going on.
Kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday. So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety.
You know, so much of this stuff was not covered in the news when it happened, these tragedies in North Carolina and in Texas with the floods and everything. And, you know, that should have been addressed at that moment in time. And these people should be celebrated, but the victims of all this stuff should also have been talked about early on when this stuff was fresh in everybody's minds. But that's the country we live in.
Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate.
I mean, think about all the children in the Epstein files. I mean, you have provable emails. Nothing's being investigated. So one set of victims is talked about, but the other set of victims isn't. And so you see how disingenuous this is. And it's beyond just disingenuousness. It's evil.
And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern.
Yeah.
That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans.
You know, it went to major corporations and families of 4. Everybody else didn't see anything. So, once again, there's no help there.
All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax.
We shouldn't be paying taxes.
To hurt the people.
The middle class shouldn't be
instead.
paying taxes, only billionaires.
But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
What's this? Why is this a celebration? Eliminate taxes entirely, then people could celebrate. But this is all, again, it's all a show. Look what we're doing for you.
And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America.
After you pay $100,000 for a Ford F-150, nobody's buying cars right now because they can't afford it. Car lots have more cars than they ever had before on their lots.
Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment.
Why is that okay?
Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half.
And you know what's going to happen with that? It's going to go towards healthcare costs because her healthcare is going to go up because she's making more money.
Megan, please
This
stand
is
up.
all
We're fighting for you,
bullshit.
Megan. Thank you, Megan.
$5,000.
We're fighting for you, Megan.
It's not
Under
a lot of
our bill,
money
parents like
compared
Megan
to raising
can
kids and
also
everything.
activate their children's
And then now that she
brand
has an
new Trump
increased income,
accounts.
she's going to have to pay more in taxes.
I didn't name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the 3rd row. Nice man, a good man.
No, how about no tax? So no tax on
investment
tips. So
accounts for every
why
American
do
child.
people
This
who
is
get
something
that
that's so
income
special.
don't have to be
Take
taxed,
it
but
off
everybody
and
else
gone
does?
through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people.
Here's crumbs, little people. Here's your little crumbs. Here's your little $5,000. Here's nothing. Look how rich you are now. Look how condescending he is to people. Here's your little $5,000. Oh, we're going to start opening. We're going to open accounts for your little jerk-off kids, and we're going to call it Trump
Well, I
accounts.
just sat on my dorm in school, and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people, and I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad.
When you see the Epstein files and you really know what's going on and you understand how the oligarchs work, the billionaires work, you realize they're just talking down to you. All of them. on both sides of the aisle. They're talked down to you because you're the little people that they use to extract from.
Over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to TrumpAccounts.gov. TrumpAccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book.
It's like Trump vodka or Trump water. Now you get Trump accounts for your little baby.
What it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000.
Don't worry.
Where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong.
Look at this guy.
And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States.
How's this guy still in the administration?
It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, he's powerful. Country saving. It's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in. Peace protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right?
That's right, Bethany, the technique, but people don't understand what that is. That's a whole different video.
Trillions and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America.
You just greaseball.
Because we finally have a president who puts America first. Put America first. I love America.
I love yourself.
For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to health care, from energy to immigration. Everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New Scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word, they just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem.
But they're doing nothing. He's doing nothing about it. So why not take Alejandro Mayorkas and bring him up on charges? Why not? Unless he was pardoned by
They knew
Biden.
their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%, Madam Secretary.
This is another
Thank you.
talking point.
The cost
Such
of
a
chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly.
Starting to
Just
come
hold
down.
on a little while.
Yeah, it's
We'll get
$50 a
down.
pound right now.
And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost.
Anybody have any idea how that'll work? Because what's healthcare? What?
In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big. And I did that in my first term, and the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Costs were going to go way up, and that's what happened, and now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before.
It has never happened before. You've never seen.
Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere. The lowest price.
I don't believe any of this. None of this is going to happen.
So in my first year of the second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of health care, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way.
Right. Okay.
And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big, Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500.
See if this Trump.
A reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for
Site
you,
cannot
and
be
you're
reached.
going to be a great
I can't
mom.
even get into the site. Chat, try and get into TrumpRx.com.
So now I'm calling on Congress to codify my most favored
get in the
nation
site.
program into law. Now, the one thing I'm not sure it matters, because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory, so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years.
Yeah, you're going to see a bunch of nuclear power plants popping up everywhere. Look at this guy.
Under attack is home ownership.
Beautiful.
With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up into thousands single-family homes.
Too late, by the way.
And now I'm
It's not helping
asking
now.
Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Racel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
Got to protect it for the boomers to make sure that they get it, because no other generation after that's going to get it.
The typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
Once again, too late. If you claw back all the money from Nancy Pelosi, then it would be worth it, but too late again.
They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay.
And arrest those that did insider trading.
I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
Support that bitch.
We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA.
Look at this. Look at
and
this.
it is the American people who pay
scumbag.
the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Colvin was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening.
Who are they from?
With her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
Why are they getting licenses at all? Why do you have to pass a law for that? You're going to ban the state for issuing a driver's license to an illegal.
Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal.
That's insane.
Immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them.
First of all, I'm not against what he said. The problem is he's not going to deport all illegal aliens, only the violent criminals. He's going to leave the rest of them here. And the fact that you have to pass a law, you need to enforce the law that's already in existence, that nobody who's here illegally should have a driver's license, not alone a commercial driver's license. That's ridiculous. But they're not going to do enough getting rid of illegal immigrants. There's not going to be
We can never forget that many in this room.
You notice he just said
not only allowed
he just said illegal
invasion
immigrants. He's just worried about the violent criminals.
But indeed, they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you.
The clear and simple thing to say is, once you cross the border, you did something illegal, and you don't belong here. Period. That's it. It's a very simple thing to talk about.
As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists.
DeBuno, just go somewhere else. You're too dumb to be in this chat.
The full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
How is a Democrat that you don't stand up and clap for that? Because they want illegal immigrants here for votes, see? I mean, the fact that you wouldn't even stand up for that just goes to show, proves beyond any reasonable doubt, you want illegal immigrants here to vote. But don't let the Republicans fool you, because the oligarchs, the billionaires, want the illegal immigrants too, because that's cheaper labor. So it's a lie on both sides. First of all, I'm not MAGA. And the thing is you're treating this as if it's a football team. I'm on one side and you're on the other side. That's where the stupidity lies.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
It comes down to
you should be ashamed of
specific topics and specific things. And by the way, the Republicans aren't helping you. Okay? They're both on the same team, and they're run by billionaires who don't care about
who
you.
block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
If you think that the Republicans are on your side, you're crazy. And this is the sad part. Like, we're never gonna improve because people think that, oh, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Oh, Republicans are great.
I'm asking you to approve the
Neither one of them.
Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. That cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Trump is the greatest president this country has ever seen. I mean, this is what I mean.
And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good. No good. Both Republicans and Democrats overwhelmingly agree on the policy that we just enunciated. And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens.
go back to 2016. He said he was going to fix healthcare and never fixed healthcare.
They don't want to do
He
it.
closed the border,
Why
big
would
deal.
anybody
Any
not
president
want
could
voter
close the
ID?
border.
One reason,
He's not going to
because they want to cheat. There's
deport
only one reason.
mass deportations.
They make
He's
up
lied
all
about that.
excuses. They say
He's
it's
given
racist.
tax credits
They
to
come
major
up with things, you
corporations.
almost say, what
That's all that's really
imagination they have.
gotten tax
They
benefits.
want to cheat. They
Or
have to,
a
and
family
their
of four.
policy is
But
so
anybody in
bad
between,
that the
no
only
tax
way
benefits.
They can get elected is to cheat.
He hasn't
And we're
arrested
gonna
anyone
stop it.
when
We have to
when it's
stop
come
it,
to
John.
the J6 stuff or any of the lawfare that was used against him. No arrests have been made in the Epstein files. Every single time an Epstein file comes out, there's another person and another person and another person. He hasn't stopped the Ukraine war when he promised he was going to stop the Ukraine war. He's going to bomb Iran and invade Iran, ultimately. He promised that he would never do that. There's nothing that he's done. Prices are still up.
School officials in Virginia sought
And I'll
to
continue.
socially transition her to a new
And most of all, he's in bed with Israel.
as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they
How many
did
people
not
who were running
immediately
sanctuary
state
cities have been
that their
arrested?
daughter was their son.
How many times did he promise he was going to arrest people in sanctuary
Boy
cities?
stayed
Never did
home
it.
and suffered terribly for a long time.
He lies about
But
everything.
today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
What is that? What's that all about? That's weird. What's that? What?
And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately.
Where are those arrests? This should never have gone as far as it has, as long as it has.
Nobody stands up. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy. Amazing. Gentlemen. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady. Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that? Over the past year, she has had an incredible impact championing AI legislation, advancing a landmark executive order on foster care, and helping secure $30 million to launch the Melania Trump Foster Youth to Independence Initiative. It's a tremendous, really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
DeBuno, keep this in mind.
Thank you, Eric.
That I voted for Trump
Been through a lot.
and was hoping that he would
In
do all these
Charlie's
things.
memory, we
Like
must
3
all
times
come
I voted for
together
him.
to
But by the way,
reaffirm that
I just want you to know,
America is one
they're not going to
nation
win the
under
midterms.
God, and we must
And
totally
he's certainly not
reject
going to. If
political
you think that he's going to have a
violence of
third
any
term,
kind.
you're crazy. It's not happening. He's going to lose the midterms and he's going to get impeached because he's not going to have any support. So,
We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's...
but see, you're the type of person that treats it like a football team. And yeah, I don't know what statistics or math numbers you're even talking about. You're just delusional. So you'll see he's going to lose. War-torn
Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train.
What has he done for you?
Deranged.
Just list off all the things he's done for you. I'm curious.
Times and was released through no cash bail. Stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zaretsky, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
See, Bethany, DeBono's never going to give you an answer.
How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen?
Bethany voted for Trump too, DeBona. So once again, you just keep getting stuff wrong. You're not winning. You know, I don't. You know, it's one. You might as well be a leftist and vote for the left. You might as well go on their team and dye your hair blue and put a bone in your nose, because you sound like a leftist right now. You're embarrassing yourself.
They don't like to hear that. One of the sick people, one of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan.
You know not what of you speaking.
Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Eva Lee. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like her. So sorry. Thank you very much. A great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying, and after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met.
First of all, that's not even close to being true, because there's a huge base of supporters of Trump that are disillusioned and pissed off. So you don't know what you're talking about, obviously, and you continue to say that. And you haven't answered the question, which proves beyond any reasonable doubt that you don't know what you're talking about. And you can't say it because there is nothing. There's nothing to say. You can't say what he's done. So there you go. I'm asking you a question. Tell us what he's done for you. And I just listed off a bunch of them. You're not paying attention. So you're just one of these people
So Andrew,
You go and go MAGA.
Now I'm going to
You know,
ask
you're the meme where
a
they
highly
draw that
respected
like
General
drooling face with a
James
MAGA
Stewart
and Make
to
America
present
Great
Staff
hat on.
Sergeant Andrew
And
Wolf
it's pathetic.
and
It's
the great
embarrassing.
family of
You're no
Sarah
different than a
Beckstrom
leftist.
with the award
You
created
might as well
by
just
our
go
late
out and
great
vote
President
for a
George
Democrat.
Washington himself. It's
embarrassing.
called the Purple Heart.
There's not enough because you can't. That's also just a likely thing for you to say. Oh, there's just too many things for me to list. Okay. Then why are you here? Go somewhere else, please. So have I. So what? It's not about, and see, this is the other thing. Once again, you don't get it. It's not about Republican or Democrat. You don't know who rules the country, do you? Who rules the country in reality? This is going to be the retard test. Who actually runs the Buno? Who runs the country? Do you think it's Republicans, or do you think it's Democrats, or do you think it's somebody else? And if it's somebody else, who do you think that is? This right here will tell everybody everything.
Pakistan and India would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and
Trust the
Jared
plan, DeBono.
Kushner for your help. Thank
Keep
you,
trusting
Steve.
the plan.
Thank you, Jared.
You're probably QAnon too. You freaks. Mostly boomers. Look at this guy. See, here's your problem. Jared Kushner. Here's your problem right here, this guy.
To Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying,
See, DeBuno doesn't
doesn't
understand who runs the country.
And he said it's an honor that they feel
He or
that
she
way.
thinks
Right,
that
Marco?
it's
You have done a
it's
great
actually
job,
President Trump.
Secretary of
President
State.
Trump
I think
doesn't run
you'll
the
go down as
country.
the best ever.
He's told what to do. And Jared Kushner should give you a very clear picture of who runs the country. Jared Kushner and all the other billionaires, AIPAC, etc. But you don't know that because you don't really do much of anything other than just simply vote and root for your team. And so somebody like you who's involved in politics, you shouldn't be allowed to vote because you don't understand what's really going on in the country. We need more higher IQ people paying attention to what's going on in politics. Not just going MAGA, MAGA, MAGA.
Nobody thought that was possible.
Alexander, you can leave. This is on C-SPAN. This is everywhere. So if you want to listen to him, go listen to him on your
As
own.
much as though he were living.
You don't need to be
It was
here.
an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always
Little
said those
Marco.
last 20 are going to be very tough. But we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead, of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug, and they dug, and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the ninth war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
So what are you going to do, DeBono? If you see me face to face, what would you do? So far you couldn't answer any other questions, but if you saw me face to face, what would you do?
They seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago. The regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people.
So you're just crazy.
With what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb.
So if you meet me face to face, you wouldn't talk to me?
And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like, 32,000 protesters. 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which...
So last thing I'll say to DeBono, you said that I have no facts, I have no support in what I'm saying, and I did. So basically you're calling me a liar. So you're upset with what I'm saying to you. You're the one saying I'm less than 3%, which isn't true, and then I have no facts, which I've brought up several times, and you haven't brought up anything. It's the last interaction I'm going to have with you. You're welcome to stay and continue to talk, but that's that. I could block you, but I'm not going to do that, of course. You're free to say whatever you want, but I'm done interacting.
Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called Peace Through Strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republicans in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 4. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently
release the Epstein file.
And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For $1 more, we can have $1,776. It's going to... I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more. I said, $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months.
There's another one where he said, with the tariffs, we wouldn't have to pay income tax. But instead, the military, which deservedly so, I'm not saying they shouldn't get it, they get the money, but nobody else gets any money, even though we get the tariffs, which, of course, were shot down in the Supreme Court.
We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, in January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched, they saw what happened. This is a different fighting force than we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby, because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down. Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter, a big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, two machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission. We probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take the searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife Amy, Eric, and Amy. Come on in.
Will the left stand for this guy?
So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg, we have it back, we brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor.
It's obviously not going to be mentioned. This was well choreographed, very well choreographed. Not that any of these people aren't deserving, because they absolutely are, 1,000%. But this is being used, unfortunately, to avoid the Epstein files, because he's not going to mention them at all. And that's more shameful than anything.
Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor. And that's
so we shouldn't talk about the Epstein files, Tara. So are you another one that just happens to come into my feed and start talking about how wonderful Trump is without paying attention to any of the other things that he promised us that he was going to give us and didn't follow through on? So we're going to have to go through this again.
Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. Two of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved.
So what does he need, another 4 years to talk about the Epstein files and hold people accountable and arrest people that he said he was going to arrest? And hold people accountable for putting him in jail and all the lawfare and everything else. So it's only been a year, so he's not going to win the midterms.
Most successful
the GOP is
nation
getting crushed
in
in
all
the
of
midterms.
history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the sky.
He ran out of time. He's not going to win the midterms. They're going to impeach him now because he didn't do what he promised he was going to do.
Stars on rockets powered by
He didn't do it in 2016 either, so how many more years you want to give him, honey?
American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington.
Those wars don't count.
The golden age of America is
Cambodia and Vietnam,
began in 1776.
Pakistan, those wars don't count.
It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
There you go. Nothing on the Epstein files. Yeah.
For a year now, I have had to watch her health deteriorate.
You honestly think we watch CNN? We voted for him 3 times, and he hasn't done what he said he was going to do. And if you don't think the Epstein files are anything, you can't be helped. You cannot be helped. You are unfortunately another one of those types of people who just is uninformed, not paying attention, and listen to Fox News and then say, well, you watch CNN. We're not liberals by any stretch of the imagination at all. We're hoping he was going to do what he promised that he was going to do, and he's done nothing. And people like you say, give it time. Give it time. 6 months go by, give it time. Another year goes by, give it time. Another 2 years goes by, give it time. Biden gets elected again. Give it time. It's only been a week. Give it time. It's only been a year. Give it time. 6 months. Give it time. Wait for the midterms. He's not going to win the midterms. I'm not voting again. I'm done. And so you keep saying, trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan. And so, you're the one here. You're the one here saying, a bunch of stuff. You're the one coming in here saying that. I mean, are you? You must be QAnon.
Thank you for honoring those veterans.
If you don't like it here, go. You can either be.
Good. I think you should take the rest of the day off. I think we have to.
You can either be a realist and fight for what's right, or you can treat it like it's a football game and say that I'm rooting for the Patriots or I'm rooting for the Giants or I'm rooting for. And that's what these people do. Like you. Is you root for MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. You treat it like it's a sport. He didn't release the files. He was made to by law. See, that's what I'm talking about. You don't even know that. Trump wasn't going to release the files, but he was compelled by law, passed by both the Congress and the House. It was written into law to release the files. He had no choice. So he didn't release them. And then on top of it, when they released them, they took longer than they were allowed to by law. And then they over-redacted the files. So the files, they're still by law. The DOJ is breaking the law that was passed to release the Epstein files. The fact that I have to sit here and waste my breath explaining this to you is pathetic. So I have to explain this to you that Donald Trump did not release the Epstein files. First of all, it was the DOJ, and they were required by law to do so. So you don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know why you're here. I mean, there's probably other places that you can go and just say Trump's awesome. I mean, this is like it's so sad about America. Is that there are people that will just sit there. People are abusing kids. They're trafficking kids. They're working with Israel. They're doing all these things to subvert America. And you're just like, Trump's awesome. Trump's the greatest thing ever. And it's like, that's not what this is. I mean, this is... No, they're not.
The chair declares the joint session of the two houses now dissolved.
I'm going to try and find CNN and hear what these idiots are talking about.
President Trump's speech was 1 hour and 47 minutes, the longest on record. Now, we've got about 5 minutes before the Democratic response. We're going to show you the numbers. We're going to take your calls a little bit later. You can see the numbers there. We want to get your response to the President's State of the Union address. 202. Here's the area code for all of the numbers. 748-8921 for Republicans.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's really...
202-748-8922 for independents. Now, if you want to send a text message and you can't get through on the phone lines, 202-748-8903. Again, that's for text messages only. Please include your first name and your city, if you would, and we'll try to get to some of those as well. Well, we are here on the set to take your calls and to have a conversation with our two reporter guests. We have Marissa Schultz of the New York Post and Diana Nerozzi of Politico joining us on the set. Marissa, you listened intently, and you have pages and pages of notes there. I'd love to show the audience those. But what's the headline right now?
So he started off his speech by saying, we're winning so much. And I think he carried on that theme throughout the speech. It started by him honoring heroes. You had that dramatic entrance for the Team USA,
I
the
also
hockey
want to
team.
say something that often gets lost in the noise. I believe that most of humanity are good people. Compassion, love, and peace are not abstract ideals, but are lived values. I've seen them in the survivors who hold each other up. I've seen them in the advocates who refuse to look away. I've seen them in the people who quietly reach out and say, "We believe you." Tonight, as we gather for the People's State of the Union, we are reminded that protecting children is not a partisan issue. It's a human one. And it requires all of us, including every community, every family, every survivor, every ally, to all stand together in unity. My hope is simple, that by sharing my story, I help create a space for others to share
All right,
theirs.
everybody, it's winding down. I think everybody's probably had enough.
Child's life is derailed by
Thank you for all of you that are in here and have been in here, including you, Tara. You didn't cause any ripples in our lives. It's that
Thank you for listening.
you need to be paying attention more of what's going on in the world and not just rooting for either the Republicans or the Democrats. It's the billionaires, oligarchs that are running our lives and controlling the politicians. And that's what has to stop. And that's what's in the Epstein files. And it's obviously now what we've all suspected is that all these people are trafficking children, they're devil worshippers, and they're controlling our lives, and they're making us slaves. It's that simple. And so that's what it's about. And I'm coughing too much because I'm still getting over this cold. So I appreciate, again, everybody being here. I'm going to call it a night. We will see you next time. Thanks for showing up, and have a great night.
On this stage, right? I mean, I think a lot of the time, Katie, people feel